Sweet. What's going on, y'all? Joe Johnston here from Speaker Scale, and I am here with the great and powerful Miss Jamie MoCrazy, about to record a quick video on Jamie's experience here working with us. So let me, Jamie, turn things over to you. Tell us a little bit about, if you want to introduce yourself, a little bit about the work that you do, and then we'll get into kind of like a high level snapshot of what you're focusing on now from a speaking business perspective. And then we'll go all the way back to where things were a little over a year ago when you originally started with us. But yeah, Jamie, let me turn things to you. And if you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about the work that you do.
I'm Jamie MoCrazy, and yes, that is actually my legal last name. It started out as a nickname and it became my legal last name um, in May of 2022 when I went back to the mountain that almost took my life to marry the love of my life, which leads to a little bit about my history. I was a professional skier. I competed in X Games and traveled the world, and then I had a near fatal brain injury. And so that gave birth to my passion, like pretty immediately, like four months after I was seen in the hospital and I left the hospital, I went to my first conference for brain injury with my mom and my sister, and we listened to the people speaking, and it was so negative, and it was so bleak, and it was like you're gonna have a worse life because you had a brain injury, and we were all like, "No, you're not. Like that's not the message that we want. That's not true. I'm gonna be fine." And my life is amazing now. I am so happy. And since that moment, I've started sharing passionately a different story about how everyone can climb alternative peaks and rebuild their life after brain injury, regardless of changes in ability level. So I had this passion project, which then, right around when I changed my name officially to MoCrazy a couple years ago, I transitioned the passion project to actually creating a 501(c)(3 for the MoCrazy Strong Brain Injury Foundation in September of 2022, producing a multi-award winning film that's now public on Amazon Prime, and working here with this company about the business aspect of growing my speaking career. And let me tell you, there are so many people in the speaking world that are like, we can teach you. Like everybody like wants to teach somebody else about how to make a speaking career. And it's kind of overwhelming and scary. So I did a lot of research. I really looked into it. I talked with Joe. It took me a couple of months to really dive into it because I wanted to make sure if I did dive into this program, I was 100% diving into this program. And the work that we've done, it has been amazing. I have taken my passion project and making a little bit of money to now this past year I made like the average money in Utah, and it's growing so quickly. So it's definitely gonna almost double or triple from last year to before, and it was tenfold before that. So it's growing pretty quickly, and a lot of that is because of the business aspect of how to take these people that are engaged and interested and turn them into leads, and you know, on a repetition have the habits to actually turn it into new gigs and stuff like that.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing, Jamie, and giving kind of a brief overview of you and what you do. And again, sort of like we were talking about before the call, the perfect example of someone who, and many of the speakers we work with either have expertise or have, a story and something that they're passionate about, something that they went through, and they've been dabbling in speaking, they've been doing it a little bit, sort of similar to you. People will come to them, ask them, maybe they've done it for free, maybe they've gotten some paid gigs, they've even, scratched the surface of getting some higher paid gigs, 10, 15, 20K, but to really structure it and have it consistent is sort of what they're missing. And similar to you when you came in here, and I'll let you kind of speak about this, like where you were a year ago, you were in that similar position, and through working with us, but more importantly, I should say too, Jamie, coming in and working the process, right? Because let's not also, lie here. There were times where we were all frustrated, where you were in here, you're putting in the work, you're hitting the grindstone. It's like, I'm doing it, I'm getting little bites here, little wins, but it's maybe not leading to this big win. And then I remember this summer when we had the really big one with the company that you engaged with, that had actually you'd worked with before. So let me kind of turn things back to you. Talk to us a little bit of like a little over a year ago is when we, first engaged and you started working with us. Where was sort of the business at then, right? From a speaking perspective, from the nonprofit perspective, what was sort of like the state of things then, a little over a year ago, in terms of like what things looked like, and then fast forward to sort of where things are at now and how that's kind of transformed, as well as some of the things that you've learned along that journey that's allowed you to take this 10x last year and now on pack for 2 or 3x this year. What are sort of the things that you've learned over this past year that's allowed to take you from where you were to where you are today?
Yeah. So, a year ago, um, we were still a passion project. We were doing the film festival run with our film, and we were getting great audience reactions, and people were interested in my speaking. Everyone would cry and they would laugh and they would say, "You're so great," and then nothing would come from it. And I would reach out to organizations, especially to tie it into this. Like, I would reach out to um, people in the brain injury community, and they would respond by saying, "Oh, well, we're broke. We don't have any money. You should volunteer because you're passionate." And I was not okay with that for a little bit. And now, on the exact opposite, I reach out to people in the speaking industry and the community, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, you cost this amount," which is like 3,500, which is my nonprofit rate. So that is reduced from my corporate rate. But we were expecting you to be like more than that. We can have you. This is amazing. So they're really happy about it, instead of me asking for 500 and them saying, "No, sorry, we don't have 500." Like, so that's been a big change that has happened in this past year. And another example, what you mentioned, one of my big wins was a company that was a pharmaceutical company connected to brain injury, and I'm actually a recipient of their services. And they wanted me to speak for free. And because of this training, I was able to present things in a way that weren't argumentative, but were able to present my worth in such a way that they paid me $10,000. So I've just been working hard on transitioning it. And as you pointed out, there was lots of months, you know, last winter, last spring, like around like April, May of last spring, it was frustrating because I wasn't really seeing any results, and I was putting in a lot of time into the education and learning things. But now I have been seeing more and more results, and on almost a daily basis, I book another engagement, which is kind of crazy to me, because it's so much more than it previously was. So that's exciting. And yeah, like I mentioned, the reviews and what people have said have kind of stuck the same since
Yeah.
people started asking me to speak, and I didn't even have the cognition to capability to actually do it. But they'd always say, "This story is amazing, you're great." But now I can actually harness it professionally.
I love it. That's incredible. Yeah, and it's those little tools, and there's two things in there, right? It's those little tools that you kind of learn along the way, and whether it's outreach, whether whatever it is, whether it's following up with leads like we talked about, those little tools that when you stack them over time, it really makes a huge difference, right? And even simple things like tweaking your website or tweaking some of the angles that you take to just make the brand and marketing look more professional, so that again, Jamie, to your point, it goes from, oh, you need to speak for free to, oh, it's only X amount. I thought it was going to be, X times two. Yeah, we could do X amount, and you're kicking yourself because you didn't charge more, right? But that's definitely a good feeling and a good problem to have. So, I love it. Well, talk to us a little bit of sort of two things here just to kind of wrap up where the business is at now, where it's going, and what you're looking forward to. You're mentioning it feels like almost every day, you're getting inquiries and potential engagements. So obviously 2025 is shaping up nicely. So talk to us a little bit about where things are at now and where you're going looking forward, and then backtrack to the point of um, you're in the position a year ago. thinking about signing up. Obviously, you did take the investment and you take the step, and it can be scary, right? When you're thinking of making a large investment into yourself, into your business, but you did that, you leaned on that, and you came in. Maybe someone who's in a similar position, thinking about signing up for Speaker Scale, and kind of what you'd recommend to them. So yeah, a little bit of where you're at now, where things are going, and what the future looks like, and then back to someone who's maybe on the fence, thinking about potentially moving forward and partnering with us here, and meeting great individuals like yourself and the other awesome speakers that we have as a part of this community.
Yeah. So, that is one of the things, like the community aspect is awesome. And other things, that are connected to speaking. You can voice your ideas, you can voice your website updates, and you just have like a community because when you are speaking, you don't work with other employees. So how to do that. And then one of the things is we found our administrative assistant through this program. And the woman that we work with, Chastity, has been super, super helpful. So it's not a virtual assistant, like we talk all the time. She's based out of the US, but so that has helped tremendously. Um, and so just having the community can be really helpful. And our foundation and speaking are both way more successful than last year, and they're growing. And as was pointed out, with the finances are so important because if you have like a foundation and you're making under 50K, you're just like making ends meet. But since we've been growing for our foundation work, now we have an event. It's an Alive to Thrive event in West Virginia, and we're bringing back brain injury survivors with visible disability on snow. Well, we're bringing them on snow to accomplish like a miraculous opportunity to help this like Alive to Thrive concept. And we're paying for their airfare, we're paying for their lodging, we're paying for all their costs because these are individuals who cannot afford that. And our foundation is doing that, but our foundation wouldn't be able to if we didn't have the funding and the sponsorships. And so, what this teaches beyond like I've incorporated it for my foundation as well. Like we just received a 5K grant or sponsorship from the Pocahontas County, which is the county that it's in. And our ability to be able to build these partnerships and being able to present our value and our worth in a clear way. And like, like one of the things we do is there's templates in this program to do like speaking agreements, and I make a speaking agreement with everybody who hires me for a keynote speaking engagement. And so how do you work that all through so you're not just feeling overwhelmed and lost and confused is what this program does. It doesn't teach you how to tell your story or how to be a public speaker. It teaches you how to have a company, and that's one of the things, or what you deliver. And so that's pretty key. Because I went to one other speaking boot camp, and what I learned from that boot camp was honestly so important as well. But I was at the stage where I was like, okay, I work with speaking bureaus. I work with these stuff, but it's just not enough. It's not enough. And I feel like I'm good at my speaking now, but it's not enough. So we do a lot of outreach, and how to take people who are interested referrals and turn them into actual referrals instead of just giving me a good testimonial, which is a very important thing to do. But I was at this stage where I could get good testimonials. I have a good website. I have a lot of that brand stuff, but how do I take the next step and actually get paid for engagements, which is a lot of what I worked on the last year. And we're gonna just keep growing and keep doing it for the next year.
Heck yeah. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. It's so great to hear, Jamie. And again, I just want to throw it back on you before we wrap up is that, and we tell everyone on the front end, and you are a perfect testament to this. It only works if you work it. It only works if you work it. And hey, look, some people, you work it like you did from day one. You get in there, you're going full in, you're going 100%. Some people, it hits immediately, and it's awesome, and it's super exciting, and we all love it, and it's super smooth. other folks like yourself, for whatever reason, it takes a little bit of time, right? It's going to take a little bit of time to get going, to tweak some things, to persevere through. But someone like yourself, who's no stranger to hard work and resilience and persevering through things, you persevere through that. You stay up, and then it was like I remember, Jamie. It was like right at the height of the frustration of, guys, I'm putting in this work, I'm seeing little things, but I just want to see a return. I remember it. That deal came across this summer, and it was like one of the biggest ones ever, and it was amazing. And it was just a perfect testament. And now everything that you're seeing now, Jamie, which I think is important to remember too, all the opportunities that you're seeing now in some level, I would say can be traced back to the work that you'd been putting in a year ago with seeing no return, right? And so it's so important, I think, just to remember, and it's part of business, part of life, that having that delayed gratification of like, you know what? I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to show up every day. I'm going to do my content. I'm going to do my outreach. I'm going to do my follow-ups. I'm going to try to detach from the outcome and understand that it will come. And again, to see you now a year later, after all the hard work, after, all the ups and downs and resistance that you faced, to like really halfway through last year, see that big deal come through. And now the other side of that is just incredible. And no one deserves it as much as you do. So thank you so much for, again, putting in the work, showing up, continuing to show up. You still show up today to all the group calls, to, messaging when you need help and you need assistance. And you're seeing the wins, and you deserve it. So thank you, Jamie, for your time. Really, really appreciate it. Where can folks find you if they want to check out the foundation, if they want to learn more just about Jamie, the MoCrazy strong brand and all that stuff? What's a good way for folks to check you all out at?
Well, if you just Google Jamie MoCrazy or MoCrazy, there's a lot of information there, which is pretty cool. And then also my personal Instagram is Jamie MoCrazy. And then the foundation is MoCrazy Strong Foundation Instagrams. My LinkedIn, Jamie MoCrazy. And our website for the foundation is mocrazystrong.org. And yeah, like I said, if you just Google MoCrazy, you remember MoCrazy, you can find out lots of information and be in touch. And yeah, and if you're thinking about signing up, really think about it. Really weigh all the pros and weigh all the cons, and really dive into it, because there are so many people who sell that they can teach you and they can create the best business. But if you think that this is the right one, totally dive into it. I know for me, it was the right choice to make last year. And so if it is for you, then I might see you later.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks all so much. Joe Johnston here from Speaker Scale, and we will chat with you